Okay, thank you very much. My name is Dr. Mutunga. I'm a member of Parliament. I'm the chairman of the Committee on Agriculture and Livestock Development of the National Assembly. We took a decision to move out to the fields. First of all, meet farmers and discuss with them and try to understand the kind of issues they are going through, what they are experiencing through production to marketing of tea, and where they find the problem could be. Because there's a clear, we can see a clear dichotomy of the country in terms of east and west of the Rift Valley, in terms of the bonuses that the farmers are receiving. When it comes to the constant pay at the end of the month, there is no contention because whatever is received on this side is comparable significantly so with what is received on the east of the Rift Valley. But when it comes to bonuses, there's a serious discrepancy because farmers on the western part of the valley have been receiving much lower bonuses as compared to farmers from the east of the Rift Valley. So this issue came to Parliament through members, and of course, it's after they have received significant pressure from their farmers or their electorates. And we took it up as a committee and took a bold decision to do an inquiry, to go beyond the normal consultations that we do as members of Parliament. There was committees where we call stakeholders to come and present memoranda to us or call them to write to us. So we decided to do both, visit institutions, visit the factories that are processing tea and selling for that matter, and also visit the farmers and listen to them. So this morning we had a meeting at Motigo tea factory. And the Motigo tea factory happens to be one of the 5 tea factories, actually 6. 5 of them are already established. The 6th one is upcoming in that region. And we were able to discuss with the farmers and listen to them at length. Some of the issues they were raising and concerns in this case why the cost of especially processing is high when it comes to the tea leaves that they deliver to the factories. And some could bring out examples like the cost of transport moved from 4 shillings per kilo to 7 shillings per kilo. And that is really significant. It's close to 100%. And farmers were wondering, how does that, why should that happen? They're also citing issues of there being many consultations or meetings when it comes to the directors of the KTDA, and when it comes to the issues of the tea from this region as being considered to be of lower value in terms of the base rate that they get from the tea auction, and so on and so forth. So ours was to establish how true some of these issues are and what really are the core causes. That is why we made a deliberate decision to speak to the Tea Research Institute, because Tea Research Institute has a mandate to basically develop varieties and cultivars that are planted by farmers across the country for both the east and west. This is the only Tea Research Institute we have in the country, and therefore it covers the entire country, and therefore their opinion will be finely balanced in our consideration. So we've been discussing the Tea Research Institute for the last about 3 hours, and we've learned a lot of what has been happening around. So when it comes to clearly saying exactly what causes the discrepancy in terms of the costs, in terms of the value, or in terms of the bonuses, we are not yet at the final end of the study. We only have preliminary findings, and these preliminary findings are subject to confirmation We will still be around here tomorrow, visiting a few factories and discussing with the farmers. Half of the committee is here, the other half of the committee is visiting the east. We are treating our respondents with the same kind of questionnaire so that the kind of responses we get will be comparable, in the sense that whatever they get from that side will be highly comparable with whatever we shall get from this other side. Therefore, the report that we release in the House later on will be finely balanced in terms of responses, because we'll have spoken the same language across. So right now it will be very immature for me to say these are the causes, but we have identified a few issues that need further follow-up. At the research level, we've been able to know that there are certain varieties. There's a varietal mix. And let me explain this. When it comes to delivery of tea to, let me say specifically to KTDA, in both areas, in both east and west. When you go to the west, to the east, you realize that farmers will deliver to specific factories of KTDA. When you come to this other side, maybe because of the levels of endowment in terms of the private, or what we are calling the independent processors, you realize that the number of independent processors in the west of the Rift Valley are many. And therefore, the farmers will decide what to deliver to who. Increased number of independent processors increases competition for the wheat. For the tea, and therefore farmer product rejection at the factory would definitely find an outlet. So that off-taker, presence of an easy off-taker, is an issue that we need to investigate further, because it first of all leads to a competition between the KTDA processing plants, and also due to the presence of these others. Secondly, you realize that the levels of establishment in terms of the personnel and the capacity to process do not change because we have a new entrant. So those new entrants, I think there hasn't been sufficient time to assess, and therefore cause the necessary adjustments. Factories have maintained their workforce, and if they have maintained their workforce, it means we are likely to have more of the costs at the factory level. Fixed costs in terms of salaries and in terms of the running costs, they are there. Another issue that is coming up, which has come from the research, is that we have different varieties, a lot more tried out in the west than we have the case in the east. In the east, there has been serious, they have been seeking for the higher yielding varieties. And on this other side, they have also been doing that, but we have independent investors into the tea industry who have very competitive varieties that they are trying out. And these varieties seem to have different qualities when it comes to processing.